All right, welcome back to the PEO Speedwagon Podcast. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rick, VP of Growth here at PEOMG. Ryan?
How's it going, Rick?
Good, you're turned around there.
Yeah, sorry, I was having a moment with the space that used to be occupied with the tree. It's a little emotional since it got taken down. I really haven't actually been in this room very much since that occurred. So, just if I seem a little emotional, that's why.
It's missing its Christmas cheer. I completely understand why you have avoided that room for a little while. Honestly, I thought you were turned around at the beginning because I thought you were looking back at 2023, hence the kind of theme of our episode. But I genuinely thought that was the trick you're going for. But
I wish it was that slick that was actually what it was about. So,
well, since you're looking forward now, and we're not looking back at the tree or 2023. What is it you're looking forward to in 2024? What's kind of on your mind at the beginning of this year?
Several things. I mean, first and foremost, it's the first full year of what we're doing here at PEOMG, which is really exciting. And, just think about how we can serve a lot of companies and by extension, their employees and their families by helping them get into the right sort of HR outsourcing environment or PEO model. But I also think about that internally as it relates to this is a really important time of the year to be looking at your values. I think there's a lot of alignment between companies hitting their goals and growing fast and achieving what they set forth from a business perspective, but also how do they align what they do and the values they have to their business. So we developed really good values for our organization early on. And I think every opportunity that we can, we base check those values around the things that we're doing. And so I really think about that right now as we kind of drive forward into what's going to be a really exciting year. I'd say the other thing I think about is kind of, I can't help but think about this time of the year because I spent so many years in sales at a PEO or sales leadership or at senior leadership, and kind of just what PEO sales reps at large are doing and thinking about, having unique conversations with their leadership about how they're going to do better and serve more organizations this year and close more business and how they're establishing goals and, what that process was like to help people do that and just, all the things that are going on right now around that.
Yeah, I hear you. And for those reps that are in PEOs, I guess what are things they can be doing now to make sure they're aligning with their values and their goals at the same time? What can they pull from 2023 to help them, do better this year?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the marketplace is growing exponentially as the addressable market for PEOs, right?
Yeah.
Small businesses are growing faster. We're seeing a lot of data to support that. Compliance is going up. The cost of healthcare is going up. So the opportunity continues to expand for a really good advisor at a PEO to come in and help small business figure this out. But that's what they can do. How they do it, I think, always has to start with where you want to be in mind. And that kind of comes down to both the intrinsic things you want to accomplish, growing, becoming a better advisor, understanding small business at a deeper level to be able to provide that level of advisory services, but two, also financially and motivationally, what you want to do. So, I'm always a big fan of reverse engineering to success. So establishing what your goal is, whether that's a number of new clients, a number of paid worksite employees, whether that's making your company's president's club or chairman's club or trip or whatever you call it, and figure out what that needs to be. And then collaborating with those that know it well within your organization, your leaders or your peers, to start to define what needs to happen. What does my pipeline need to look at every point in time of the year? What are the activities? What are the engines I need to turn on to create the right number of opportunities and meaningful conversations with small to medium-sized business owners? So starting with that end in mind and then walking back with a very conservative view as to how I'm going to get there. So I think that's one thing that we always did, and I think that we did really well, was identify not only where you want to go, but then also attach it to something important, which is your why. whether that is to make a certain financial goal or to provide new opportunity for your family or to give more money to charities. Like, what are you really driving at up and above that financial reason? And obviously develop a plan on how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think this episode talking about, values and it's kind of a little deeper, so I'll put in a little, he who has a why can bear any how, right? I mean, it's a little bit of like that. And so one thing I'm thinking of too is like, we're seeing a lot of tools come out that are, around AI and different things that are helping primarily with what I see as like marketing. And I think that relationship between the sales reps this year and their marketing teams is probably something that is going to be really helpful to grow. We were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier today. And I could really see a lot of relationships with marketing benefiting the sales reps this year because of all the tools you're going to see the marketing teams coming out with. And you mentioned that the market penetration is pretty low in the PEO industry. I think Napio said it's only like 15% market penetration. So definitely a lot of room to grow. And it seems like this year, a lot of things are all coming together at once to make that really possible. So really an exciting year overall for the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been interesting to see that dynamic occur not only in the PEO space, but business, like small to medium-sized business and enterprise business at large, like the cohesion and the way sales and marketing have come together to create a better client experience on the sales process, the entire customer journey from the time they become even PEO aware, to use your term, to the time in which they actually process that first payroll. And it used to be that sales and marketing were two different ships kind of passing each other in the night and really kind of, doing their own things. And, some of those things bled over and helped each other, but not really. And they certainly weren't working hand in hand. And now to kind of see how that has all progressed and how functions of business development have fallen into the marketing world, how sales collaborates with those that part of the organization to build more pipeline and give them more insights as to what the customer really wants when they're hearing from a prospective PEO. So I think that's created a significant advancement. AI is a great tool to help kind of blend some of those concepts together and communicate across a common language. But it all starts with people who understand small business and understand the things that they need to learn along the way becoming a PEO customer, like that they get in a room and really collaborate. And it's been cool to see that change over the last 20 years.
Oh, for sure. And you were saying, like it's, yes, AI or SDRs and BDRs came onto the scene maybe 20 years ago, but they're mostly in like finance or other industries.
Sure.
This industry, PEOs in particular, were a little resistant to it or kind of had a bigger separation between marketing and sales for a while. Do you think that is certainly changing and that it's mostly going to be changing like a lot this year? Or, what do you kind of see for the marketing channels this year?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of educational marketing. There's a lot of helping organizations understand this complex model from the outside in, right? Yeah. Not necessarily breaking it down at its payroll or it's just benefits, but really like what does a comprehensive service model around your people strategy look like and why would that be meaningful? So like kind of helping them see the full picture. And that's that has certainly taken a big leap forward. And I think now with, lots of organizations utilizing not only their social brand to do that, but also things through educational marketing that they're really helping companies understand why a PEO can be so powerful. And that's really exciting. At the end of the day, a lot of the lead generation still comes from the PEO sales rep. Yeah. In the form of referrals and in their network. And so those are things that the organizations, the PEOs at large, and count on for that sales rep to be that tip of the spear, if you will, and create those initial relationships. But now they also get lots of layers of support from not only the collateral and the things you might take on calls and market to, but loyalty programs and webinars and white papers and infographics. Like there's just a plethora of support materials that just didn't used to exist. And so I think that makes the communication and the prospecting a lot more powerful than it used to be. In the past, it used to just be knocking on doors and making cold calls. And those things still have their day and they should be spokes in your wheel. But now you have a lot of different avenues and resources to do that. And that just kind of elevated the awareness of PEO.
So tell me, what kind of headspace, you're in sales leadership for a long time. What kind of headspace would you tell your reps to be in coming into this year?
Yeah, I would come in saying this is a pretty exciting year because it's a year with some uncertainty for small to medium-sized business owners, and you have the ability to deliver it to them.
Yeah.
So this is an election year. That is always a year that's a little tricky from an economic perspective and for business owners to make decisions, and they're looking for guidance and support. And alongside, better benefits or payroll or lift and shift of liability and getting you more focused on your business, like you can deliver a form of certainty around a really productive and consistent model that will help their business grow further and faster than it would on their own. So yes, things are coming come November, and that's going to happen this year. And so how can I deliver you some certainty now and help you prepare for the future and lock down and take care of your most important asset, which is your people? So if you're not thinking about those things, we should be talking about it now, because it's going to be really hard come Q4 to really kind of get things in order and feel like you have all the information you need to make a decision. So I think PEO sales reps at large should be excited, because this is a year to move further or sooner and faster towards those kind of conversations. And if you can talk to that business owner with what's coming down, on the horizon in mind, and tell them why, don't wait. Like, let's do this now. Let's figure out the best strategy. Plus, if we can get in now, we can make a greater impact in 24. If we wait till you renew in October or in January, then really a lot of the things that we have the capability to do aren't going to make much of an impact, if at all, in this year. And so I know small to medium-sized business owners didn't start out 2024 with goals that they said, well, yeah, we'll do that and we'll put things in place so they really have an impact in 25.
Yeah.
That just doesn't compute. So I think taking that excitement and enthusiasm about what can be done in a really exciting year in 2024 and carrying that into that conversation and telling that business owner confidently that I have things that I can do here that would be really meaningful to you, your business, and your employees.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. It made me think, we're partially doing this podcast because I'm trying to learn the PEO industry, and we're just documenting it for everybody. So your jargon word of the week that I heard researching PEOs was flex security. There was flexibility and security was the thing that most people looked for with the PEO to be able to solve some of their problems. But well, I wanted to ask you, Ryan. So that's the headspace that you would say to a PEO sales rep going into this year. I guess help me understand then too your mindset going into this year in the PEO consultancy space for PEOMG.
Yeah, it's very much in the same. There is low penetration rate for this really powerful solution of PEO in small business. And what's cool is a lot of businesses are growing faster. Venture capital is struggling. That has been the case, but private equity has not. And private equity is still growing. And that is actually traditionally a better fit for PEO because it's more established businesses with systems and people in place versus, the small startup environment that's typically associated with venture capital. So that's really exciting. That's growing. Yeah. I think there's growing excitement about what the Fed might do here in May or June. And so, organizations are kind of driving towards that. I'm hearing conversations, people talking about that. And then a real move and shift towards, because of that and because of, other factors, to entrepreneurship through acquisition. We're talking to a lot of companies right now that are rolling up companies, consolidating with a design to grow and employ more people and grab market share. And so, a number of our conversations right now with companies that are doing exactly that. And what's at the top of their mind, not only with the M&A work, is the people work they need to do, right? Because so many of these organizations are heavily reliant on having really good people. And so that part's exciting, and seeing kind of the marketplace shift around that is powerful. And then I think, I've heard this many, many times, and it's been said, and it's always true. It's a really exciting time to be in the world of PEO because the challenges for small to medium-sized business owners only get greater. the number of acronyms around compliances and regulations and laws only get greater. And the cost of health insurance only goes up, right? And so the only thing that has ever really worked consistently year over year to address all of that and more is a PEO. And so that part is really exciting. And I think I kind of just get excited every single year because we're in such a cool industry that impacts people. And that makes it fun.
Yeah. Hey, and making it fun is, kind of half the battle is just, is having fun while we do it and maybe doing podcasts like these a little more. But help me understand too, I guess, what's the relationship in your mind between the values that you have with the organization and then its relationship to your goals for the organization as well? How do they interact with each other? How do you kind of find the middle between them?
Yeah, we've got two really cool, we've got 5 core values. They're on our website. 2 that I think about right now is one is grow but never grow up. So we are highly focused on growth, and because when we are growing, we are servicing and helping more organizations through this, HR outsourcing structure. And but the never grow up part is like, we're going to keep having fun. Like, we're going to do this podcast and we're going to come up with more puns and we're going to kind of try it and just have as much fun with this thing as we possibly can. And we're always going to strike a balance between growing and helping more people, but never growing up or old or mature. The other side of that is kind of having an anti-grind culture. I think it is very easy, even in the world of startup. And trust me, we all work really hard here. There's no doubt about that. But because we're having fun, it's not a grind. And because we are enjoying what we're doing and we are taking care of ourselves, even as we work incredibly hard, it is not a grind. And I think about that a lot. And I think about that probably every day. And it's kind of funny. I mean, from a story perspective, it happened on day one. I'm really thankful we have our values because we've already gotten to use them a great deal. And I got to use that anti-grind culture, and I am balanced is our statement that we attach to that on day one. So the day we launched the business happened to coincide with my daughter's first opportunity to pitch on the varsity softball team as a freshman. Like, big day in her life, like, just without a doubt. And it was the same day that we were launching the business. And I mean, I really struggle with this. I mean, like, of all days that I want to like focus at least from all day on the business, it's got to be the day that we launch it, right? And so I really went back and leaned on our values to figure out what the right thing to do is. And if this is an anti-grind culture, and if I am in fact balanced, then I go to this game. I go be at this really important event in her life that frankly I would never be able to get back if I was at home plugging away on the computer, trying to connect with businesses. I would never have that opportunity to do that again. And I'm so thankful that I went, not only for the opportunity to see her do this really cool thing in her life for the very first time, but also because it meant we were living the values from day one. And we can always talk about that in this organization. And now I had my laptop. I had it on my hotspot. I was emailing and interacting every time she was not pitching. But, I think that that's really important. And we do a good job, I think, here. And I hope everybody does, of leaning into their values.
Yeah. Hey, strong values, it means you just have more ambitious goals because you got the values to support you. Mm-hmm. You mentioned, I mean, obviously we're going to have some fun along the way, and the puns just keep coming out. But we forgot to mention we rolled out the latest AI tool, which was the PEO Oracle or PE Oracle. Our kind of all-inclusive knowledge base. It's a GPT from OpenAI where you can ask it any question about the PEO industry or HR. And that thing's been a lot of fun to play with. We've seen a lot of good interaction with it. People have been using it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's cool. It's been fun. It's like fun to fact check my own knowledge.
I do that. I fact check your knowledge.
Yeah, you do. And speaking of VCs, I haven't gotten any phone calls yet about it. So I'm a little surprised, but it could be that just they're very busy. So, but no, it is a cool thing. It's fun. It's a tool that I happen to think is the right thing to do. Like, this is a tool we could use to just make ourselves sound smarter, but in fact, it can help people, and they can go ask it questions and get HR answers or answers about PEOs. And I think that, again, that ties back to some of our, our values is like, we're not going to keep this tool for ourselves. We're going to give it out to the world and anybody who can benefit from it. We're serving our initial mission of helping increase the success equation of every small business that we interact with.
Yeah. And see, that's an ambitious goal. We got to go to every business. So let's get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ryan. Awesome. Well, that's episode 3, everybody. Thanks for listening in. Again, you can find us on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Music, really anywhere you get a podcast. And if you're watching us on LinkedIn, thanks very much. Like, subscribe, hit the notification. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks all.